Facts First presents. His ex-wife nagged him for years to cut his hair, but when he did, her jaw dropped. We all have things about ourselves that we would like to change, but is there something that your significant other wants you to change about yourself? Tell us in the comments below. Also, be sure to subscribe and click the notification bell so you don't miss our future videos. While we do have things about ourselves we'd like to change, there are things that we secretly would like our significant other to change. We just normally wouldn't say them out loud. It might be a spending habit, facial hair, some hideous fashion style that they just won't get away from. When a couple gets divorced, what they don't like about their partner, well, that's no longer their business. And that's true unless you are Ian and Karen Cook. Ian and Karen Cook were married for several years. They were also parents to twins Benjamin and Cameron. When they decided to get divorced, they agreed to try and get along so that they could co-parent their sons effectively. They knew that they had to get along for the sake of their sons, and they were doing a great job. Unfortunately, Karen had one major issue with Ian. Karen's biggest issue with Ian was his hair. The 54-year-old father from Stamford worked in utilities. He didn't work with the public, so he didn't see any reason to cut his hair. He had gone 4 years without getting a haircut. He rarely ever shaved his beard, too. His beard had grown past his shoulders. It was often a mess. Karen and his sons nicknamed him Gandalf from Connecticut. Well, Karen often bugged Ian to cut his hair, and most people couldn't figure out why this ex-wife would even care what the hair looked like, but she had a reason. Her sons were 16 years old. They lived with Karen in Milford, which was one town over from Ian's home. Benjamin and Cameron would often spend the weekends at their father's house, and suddenly the boys didn't want to go there as often. When Karen asked why, they said that they didn't like bringing their girlfriends over to their father's house. Their girlfriends would often wonder who the Gandalf-looking guy was who was sitting in the living room. Well, Karen was a huge fan of the Rachael Ray show. She figured that if anybody could get Ian to cut his long locks, it would be Rachael Ray. In 2015, the whole family was invited to the show to help Karen and the boys get through to Ian. Rachael said on her show that it was the first time an ex made such a request. Ian agreed to be on the show because he didn't want his sons to be embarrassed by him. He wanted them to be proud of him and to be proud to be seen with him. When he heard about his ex-wife's crazy idea, he agreed to do it for the sake of his sons. Rachael brought on the show's style expert, Kean Douglas. She knew that they were going to need an expert if they were going to give Ian a new look that he and his family loved. When she introduced Kean to the audience, Karen and her boys were already on stage. Kean was dropping hints about what happened during Ian's makeover, but refused to give away too much. He knew that Ian's unveiling had to be a complete surprise. He told the audience that Ian agreed to the makeover because his sons were too shy or uncomfortable to tell him that they didn't like his hair. The boys made sure to tell the audience that they were always proud of their father, they just didn't like his hairstyle. Well, Karen wanted the audience to see that Ian had always had strange-looking hairstyles. The show presented a video montage of his past styles, which many would say were, lacking. They showed Karen and Ian's wedding photo, and he had long hair and a handlebar mustache. In a photo from when the twins were born, he still had long, wavy hair. When the boys were in kindergarten, his boys had an unfortunate bowl cut. Karen joked that if it was left to his own devices, Ian could have ended up with a haircut that was worse than his current style. Ian told the audience that he believed his reasons for not cutting his hair was a middle-age crisis. He says that he knew he was getting old and he was at a point where his looks just didn't matter anymore. He didn't realize that he was wrong until he sat down and spoke with Kean. Finally, it was time for Ian's family and the audience to see his transformation. A life-size picture of Ian with his long hair was displayed on the wall. When Ian came out from backstage, everyone was shocked, especially Karen. His ex-wife nagged him for years to cut his hair, but when she finally did see him with the haircut, her jaw dropped in amazement. When he came out, his family saw a whole new man. He looked 20 years younger. Karen joked that she was rethinking the whole ex thing. The entire family thought that Ian looked great. He told Rachael that he felt like a new man, and he had confidence that he had never had before. I may have to book myself a haircut today. Subscribe for more.